of a stream. So today we have a gig announcement. I'm looking forward to sharing with you. I'm a very happy noble at the moment because I've just kind of solved one of my issues that I've been having with production lately, and that is finding like good melody sounds. And the reason for that is because I've had a lack in like plugins. Like I've got some plugins, don't get me wrong, that do like really good bass sounds and pad sounds and breakdowns. But when it's come to kind of making actual leads, I kind of feel like I've been lacking a little bit. And I had a copy of Serum, but I couldn't get it to work. And then finally today, I got sent from a friend a copy of Serum, and we got it all working. And he sent me some presets over, and like on 2 tracks already, it's like just honestly, it's boosted my melody sounds, and they sound a lot better on 1 track. Believe it or not, I think might actually be one of my favourite bounce tracks that I've kind of produced in a very very long time. So I'm looking forward to sharing that one. But anyway, we're streaming today regarding a gig announcement. So I did briefly speak about this in the last stream. But when I spoke about it in the last stream, everything was still kind of a little bit unknown. So, a little bit of a story as to kind of how this booking kind of came about. So, as you all know, I played the Ultimate Bounce on last Sunday in Cleethorpes, and there was quite a few of the Doncaster boys that had been booked for this one. And there's a guy who was booked on the lineup called Liam Wilson, and he's a DJ himself, and he's just taken over running the Friday night. So he does the last Friday of every month at the Tropic bar in Doncaster, and he gets a load of local and further afield DJs that come and supply a night, just basically like full of bounce and dance anthems all night. And this has been running on the last Friday of every month for well over a year now. And it used to be run by a guy called DJ Porter, but I believe it's Liam Wilson that's kind of running it now. I believe, and they've kind of rebranded it, and it's now called Bounce to the Bass. So anyway, he was there on Sunday, and he witnessed my set. He really, really enjoyed my set. Then I saw the flyer for their gig, for their event that they had going on, which is this Friday at the Tropic Bar. And I just left a very friendly comment saying that, like, I'll have to try and come to one of these events. Wasn't really necessarily meaning about coming to this one this Friday. It was more just, like, I'll have to try and get to one of the, hit up one of the last Fridays of the month and kind of come and support the event. And then he was kind of like, come this Friday and bring your USB stick. And that's kind of where it was at. And then when I did the stream a couple of days ago to do the Ultimate Bounce Aftermath, I just, did a quick sort of, told you a little bit on stream that, I might be going over on Friday. I've been sort of invited over. So I dropped Liam Wilson a message, and, we spoke a little bit, and he actually wanted to book me. He wanted to put me on the lineup. So he's put me on the lineup, going B2B with him on Friday from 9:30 until 10:30. So not a too bad set time, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite looking forward to it if I don't say so myself. So the Tropic Bar in Doncaster has been something that I've wanted to do for a long time. It's been, I don't want to say it's been on my bucket list, but I've kind of seen them take place like each sort of last Friday of the month, and kind of just thought, you know what, like I actually really want to kind of do one of these because they look quite fun. Like it's just like a, you're hitting up kind of like a bar stroke, a club in the middle of town. You're just playing a lot of like remixes of anthems essentially, and you're just playing to whoever's out in town, and it's just like a free entry thing. And I just thought, you know what, like I just love that. It's almost like your kind of typical. You go out on a night out and you go into the club and there's your typical DJ on, but instead it's just a load of donk DJs playing bounce essentially, and it always seems to go off. It always seems to pull a crowd and pull people in. Of course, they like a lot of, if you just go straight heavy in with like, the Russian hard bass, then obviously that isn't going to do you any favours. But by all means, if you're playing a lot of, remixes of like well-known commercial tracks, like I don't know, a bounce remix of a Lady Gaga track, for example, will probably do dance floor damage in a place like that. Whereas if you go in with a heavy Russian hard bass track about cocaine, you're probably more going to empty the dance floor. So I kind of get the vibe, and when it comes to playing kind of like cheese and like commercial bounce tunes, like that is something that I can do. Like because when it comes to music, I've always been like a fan of cheesy music. I've always liked a good sing along, a catchy melody, as opposed to something that that really sounds like too underground and unfortunately, like the underground tracks, like people bang on about, like you can't beat the old like 90s hard trance, and a lot of it, a lot of it was like an underground rave record, and it stayed underground. There wasn't a point where you would hear that track in the top 40, and unfortunately, them tracks just they unfortunately they got left behind with the time, and now it's only like like middle-aged DJs that want to put on like old school reunion rave events, and the old people that want to come out and really listen to them. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I don't mind old school hard trance. I haven't got an issue with the genre myself. It's just unfortunately in this day and age, it's not the type of music that's selling out events and selling out arenas, and unfortunately it's not the way it is, and genres of music, like things change, and obviously people adapt and change the styles, and I know some big DJs, they go where the money is, but a lot of people say like they don't like all the stuff that Darren Styles plays now. But look at Darren Styles, like I'm not being funny, like just look at that guy and like how often he's getting booked and where he's getting booked, and the size of the crowds he's playing to. Like I'm not being funny, like he could have carried on doing Breeze and Styles, which he does come back and do Breeze and Styles type sets now and again, but he could do that, and probably his biggest gig would probably be something like Ravers Reunited, whereas now he's kind of selling out arenas. He's just selling out arenas. I mean, Club Filler, he's doing amazing with hardcore. He's taking that to Creamfields and beyond. But unfortunately, sort of like the hardcore scene, although it's doing well, it isn't doing as well as like the stuff, say, what Darren Styles is playing. So you can kind of understand like why people kind of like get behind it, because it's thriving, it's moving, and unfortunately it does upset people that like followed him in the earlier days. Like I'm pretty sure when he transitioned from the Forsen Styles to the Breeze and Styles, there was probably a lot of people that kind of was like, oh, it's not like the Forsen Styles days. But unfortunately, we move, and the time moves, and people adapt and change their sounds. And I used to play a lot of hardcore, and don't get me wrong, I still love it. I still play it now and again, but now I do a lot of bounce and clubland sets because there's more vibe to them, there's more energy. And now I'm starting to influence and start dropping some like hard dance tunes into my bounce sets, and taking people on a kind of like a kind of on like a little bit of a different journey, and that is obviously the way it goes. So unfortunately, these like hard trance tunes and things like that, and these underground rave tunes that didn't really make it further than being an underground rave tune back in the day. It might have been big in the raves in the 90s, but because they never made it as far as like onto commercial radio. They never, I don't know, big, sold platinum or anything like that. People don't really know of them nowadays, apart from people that were like, heavy ravers back in the day, and that was their kind of thing back then. Like, oh, we used to rave to this. Whereas you play something now like Robin S. Show Me Love, and it stood to the test of time. It's a well-known commercial dance track that still sounds fresh today. Whereas them old school kind of like rave hard trance tunes, they kind of sound like they are a 90s rave tune underground, if that makes sense. Whereas like you can go to somebody's wedding or like a modern person's party nowadays and play Show Me Love, and people will still be on the dance floor singing. But you put something like an underground record on, they don't know what it is, they don't like it, they'll ask you to change it, unfortunately, and that is just the way it's become. I'm not saying it's necessarily a good way. I can understand, like, but unfortunately, like, people used to moan back in the day, like, that they didn't want their underground music getting commercialized. But unfortunately, if they don't get commercialized, they get lost in time, and then they become unfortunately lost, and they get almost forgotten about, apart from dedicated ravers. The average sort of like normal person isn't going to know what that track is, like I say, unless it was something that, like, entered into the charts, and was on like hundreds of compilation CDs. I mean, the amount of times Robin S. Show Me Love has probably been on like a 90s dance anthem CD, or I don't know, like an MTV Classics or something, Ministry of Sound, the old school or something, like, is going to be completely unreal. And whether you're a young person or an old person, you have probably heard that track at some point in your life. Whereas like an underground 90s hard trance record, unless you've really been to a proper rave, like back in the day, or you go to Uprising now, like, you probably aren't going to have ever have heard of that track, unfortunately. So when it comes to playing the commercial stuff, I don't mind. I can very easily adapt and play very cheesy stuff, and I've got remixes. I've got a remix of Brimful of Asher in my bounce collection, and like, a lot of people go like, total cheese, and I'll stand behind the decks, and I have got no problem playing that, and I'll still dance and sing along to it just as well as something that has a really hard pounding heavy drop. So for me, I love it. For me, I just love all music personally. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've got some new tracks of my own to play, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait for it. So Tropic Bar this Friday. I'm on 9:30, well, 10:30, and then I'm just gonna really enjoy myself. And there's a couple of people on the lineup that I've friends of mine that I've actually not seen for a while. So Catchy, he is playing. I've not seen Catchy for a long time, actually. I think the last time I saw him would have been Bounce Elements, and that was probably that was probably over a year ago, because the last Bounce Elements I missed, and then I think the one before that I might have also missed that one as well. And they did one in Bar to Be, and it was an absolutely amazing thing. And Catchy had won a competition to DJ there. And anyway, cut the story short, I think that was the last time I saw him. So it's going to be good to see Kyle um, have a good little night with Kyle. Some other friends on the lineup. I've seen some of them more recently, but some really good people on the lineup. Mr. Bounce, I last saw him play at Park Hall in that was this year, but it was a little bit earlier on. I can't remember exactly when it was. It was very early on, like maybe somewhere around the March time or something. And that was again really good, really good event. Um, Good to see him. He opened up the show. And then there's like people, Porter's on the lineup, and then Tyndall. So all kind of like good friends of mine. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to it. And there's a guy on the lineup who actually texted me and said like, "Can I drop one of your tracks?" And he's bought one of my released tracks. And in all honesty, it was actually one track that I was actually debating whether to play, and the only reason I was debating to play it was because I actually thought, do you know what? Like, I actually rate this track I've made, but I don't play it that often. So for me, it was kind of thinking like I might just play it just because I've not played it for a while. But then he texted and said, "Look, can I play this track?" And it was that track I was thinking of. Which I don't mind. I like people obviously playing my tracks. So for me, it was kind of like, yeah, go ahead and play it. I'd be happy for you to play it. So he's gonna play that track, which is the Takes Me Higher. So I really like that. Uses a sample from Cafe Del Mar Energy 52. So I can't wait to see that get played on Friday, depending what time he's on, because I have got to unfortunately come back on the last train, and I am at the Freedom Festival in Hull on Saturday helping out, and I am on the Sunday as well. So unfortunately, I won't be staying there mega late because I've got to come back on the last train, which is about 20 past 11, unfortunately. But the event starts at 7, so 8, 9, 10, 11. That gives me a good 4 hours at the event. Good to see some people, and during the day, well, a bit earlier on during the day, I'm going to see a friend of mine, and we're gonna have a little bit of a just gonna have a little bit of a jam and just exchange some tunes and just a couple of things he wanted me to help him out with. And I've had a week off work, so I've been like, yeah, let's do it. I've got a week off work, so I said like, and I'm coming through for to the Doncaster ends for the gig on Friday, so it just made sense that if he was available, we'd kill the two birds with one stone essentially. So yeah, so Doncaster Friday, Tropic Bar. It's gonna absolutely go off, and then hopefully I'll get to play there again. Who knows? Who knows that I could end up playing there again next month. You never know. And maybe doing a solo set instead of a B2B one. You never know. We'll see what happens. So make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share. I'll be doing some updates very soon on some new music I've been working. I'm sitting on a couple of tracks actually that are like almost done. One is called Red. One is called Alejandro. So you might know that one by what the title is. Glad You Came and Touch You. They're all tracks that I'm kind of working on at the moment. The Touch You is it's in very early stages still at the moment. The Touch You is kind of something that I'm not totally keen on at the moment. I'm trying to write a really nice melody for it. And the Glad You Came is more or less there. It just needs like some levels tweaking, sounding really good. The Alejandro, I'm pretty much just about happy with that. There was just a couple of small tweaks that I wanted to do, just like a bass sound in the breakdown, and then I'm about ready to go with that one. And then the track called Red, again, it's just some final little tweaks really, and then I'm going to start putting some preview videos up on Facebook and stuff, and then deciding what's actually going to happen to these tracks. So I think the Alejandro, like I really want to submit that off to a label. So we'll see. But essentially, that's the score. So let's see what happens, and yeah. So make sure to like, comment, share. We'll see you soon. Yeah, I need to